I'm going to do a quick garden tour this morning. This is the stuff on my front porch, which is my green onions, my spinach, which I picked it down pretty good yesterday, but it's already taken back off. These are my purple cucumbers that came up from seed I planted. Some of my butter crunch lettuce, my squashes I'm growing on my front porch. I'm trying not to get in the sunlight too much and block it. Some of my red fire I'm still picking. I got a little bit still over in that other corner, and I'm gonna more red fire. Some of my big squash I had over here. This is my salad bowl lettuce. I finally got some of my salad bowl lettuce to grow, so I'm hoping to get to start picking off of it pretty soon. Just for us. That's the only thing of that one I've got going. Some more Burpless cucumbers that were little plants when I started them, and some more spinach over here. And then around my I gotta get that bag picked up. Around my corner here into the garden itself. These are our cucumbers, my regular cucumbers, and my radishes. Radishes are not faring too well, but I do have some that I can pull now, and we can eat off of. If you can see, that's my little ant bait back there, because I had ants in this raised bed really bad, and in other places too, in those other pots. These are my new addition buckets. I got a couple pepper plants. I got some chives planted in this. These are two of the Indiana red tomatoes. Some of my herbs over here. This is my Better Boy that I started from a sucker. This is my little purple tomato. Not sure exactly how purple it's going to be. It's supposed to be a bright purple. That's one of the Rutger slips that I had. And then I've got two of the Cherokee purple tomatoes here. There's Bridget's. Well, if I can get out of the sunlight. Bridget's hot banana pepper plant. She's got one or two that she could probably pull, maybe three. And these are her jalapenos. There. And then over here is my container garden. I gotta get some more sticks, kind of help prop up my pepper plants, because to kind of tie those two. That wind that comes across this yard is horrendous sometimes, and for the last 2 days we had that wind off of that hurricane or tropical storm, Cristobal. So it kind of pushed them sideways pretty bad. But anyway, these are my little yellow cherries, which have got little tomatoes on them. A hardy red cherry. This is going to be my black cherry. And this is the other little purple tomato plant. I started them all in here. Ended up with 4 that all came up. This was the biggest one, which has really grown a lot since I planted it. And so now I gave 2 of those starts to my dad, and then I put the other one over in that other bucket. These are my sweet banana peppers. 2 California Wonder peppers that'll go green or red. Orange bell and a yellow bell pepper. And then pay no attention to my big old loud air conditioning unit. This is my bodacious sweet corn. It's an all yellow sweet corn. But check out these buckets of cantaloupe. They are doing fantastic. They are setting little fruits on them. We've got teeny tiny little cantaloupes on the bloom, so hopefully they'll get pollinized and do well. Strawberry plants, we're starting to pick a few little strawberries. I've noticed quite a few blooms in the last little bit, so might have a pretty good little quantity of them if we can keep the birds out of them. My sweet potato plants, Looks like they're doing pretty good. Big bucket, not as much, but it is doing okay. These are our watermelons. They look great too. It's starting to get some blooms on the sugar baby ones. That's all this whole thing is, sugar babies. And then this is a mixture of Charleston Gray on one side and Crimson Sweets on the other. They're not blooming yet, but they'll have much larger watermelons. Zoe, get away from that. The dogs came out with me today, so. Ella, get back over here. Come on. Come on, Ella. Ella. She's so stubborn. Anyway, this is my little swimming pool with green beans in it, and some of them are coming up, some of them not coming through yet. We'll see. Just kind of trying to keep them watered for the new seeds to come up, make sure they stay watered good, but not too much water. And I'm trying to just water kind of every other day. Right now, while it's dry, we haven't had any rain here. Ella, come on. They like to go over there in that big field next door and roll around in the grass. I don't know why. Scratching their backs or whatever. Anyway, these are my potatoes. And these got kind of dried out the other day in all of that wind. And so I watered them good, and they've come back up and bounced back to life real well. So these are my cabbages. The ones in the ground are doing much better than the ones in the pot, even though I'm trying to keep them watered good. The few of these are starting to head up on me though, so that's good. Carrots are coming along good. I'm really tickled with that. I just set out, I pulled up all of the green onions here, and I set out a few okra seed, or put out a few okra seed here. My red fire lettuce, it's about at its end. And then I got that little patch of spinach that's still doing well. And so I've got green beans planted on either side of that. So hopefully they'll come up. I put out some of those Rutger tomatoes here, the 3 of those that I had. And then I've still got buttercrunch lettuce, really good amount. I need to pick some of that off today. And then this is my dill bed. I don't see any coming up yet. But this is what I put in here. This is all dill. And so I'm hoping that'll come up. That'll smell lovely in the garden, and also be nice to use for pickles if I want to make some pickles this year, or some dips and that kind of thing. Dry some of it out. I got all of my tomatoes pruned, and the ones that were big enough tied up yesterday to my fence up through here. So I was tickled to get that completed. This is just an oddball Indiana Red that I started way back before we had that cold snap where we got the freeze. I had it under plastic with all the rest of the garden, and it lived fine and has taken off really well. I'll have to get it on something bigger than that little tomato cage, but for now that will help support it up here. My zucchini is doing well. My squash is really starting to take off over there. I've got some little bitty zucchinis over here. Take this lower one off here. But they're growing. They've gotten pollinated and they are growing. I did have a couple that I pulled off that didn't get pollinated, that were starting to get soft and mushy, so I just went ahead and pulled them on off, so the plant's not working unnecessarily. So, and then these are my Indiana Reds down here. I have just a variety of tomatoes up here. I've got a Pink Girl. I've got 2 pink Brandywines now, because the one suckered back out and came up that got clipped off. And I had a sucker that I had started and got it rooted, and so it's in the ground, but they're going to be behind some of the others. The big tall one over there is a Mr. Stripey. And I think I've got another Mr. Stripey around here somewhere, but I can't remember where. The one next to it may be the Mr. Stripey that I started. And then I have 2 Carolina Golds, 2 Cherokee Purples, Better Boy. These are A couple Indiana Reds, I think here, pretty much, maybe 3. A couple Cherokee Purples, three Cherokee Purples, I think is what I have in this row. These 3 right here. And so, but they're all doing good. And then this is my earliest corn I planted. This is a bicolor corn. It didn't really have a name. It was a number, I think. But it's just a bicolor sweet corn. And so I'm really tickled. And kind of where some of it didn't come up, I went ahead and set out a different kind of okra down here. Put a couple seeds on this end and one over here, and then I put 2 out on the other end of this row because there was a little spot for a couple of them out there. So anyway, that's my garden tour, and I'm excited. It's grown so much since I got started with it. So, and you know, some things have already been harvested. The radishes is what I pulled up here and put these tomatoes out in their spot. So, and I may, when I pull these up, I may stick a little bit more okra out there, this same kind that I've got here. This is supposed to be kind of a dwarf variety of okra. I bought 2 different kinds, so I can't remember. One is a Louisiana something, but I'm not sure. My dad always grew the Clemson, I think it's Clemson Spineless or something like that. But anyway, I thought I would try something different. These are a thinner, more narrow pod on these type that I grew. But anyway, that's my garden tour. I did a little cleaning up on it yesterday. Like I said, I just need to get some pepper plants tied up to some supports because the wind across through here is really strong sometimes. So even if it's not a hurricane or a tropical storm blowing through, we just get a lot of wind on this hill. So anyway, that's my tour, and I'm going to flip this around if I can. There we go. Maybe. No, that's not it. Did I do this again? I don't know. Anyway, I hope you have a blessed day, and thanks for being here with me. Bye.